Okay, so picture this. You're you're settling in for one of the biggest television events of the year.
Right.
The family is gathered around. You've got the snacks out. You're maybe half watching, half scrolling on your
Well,
phone.
we all do.
Exactly. And you expect, I don't know, a pop star or maybe a marching band.
Yeah.
The usual pageantry. But you look up at the screen, and instead of a singer, you see an army.
And crucially, not a human army.
No, an army of cyborgs. We are talking sleek, metallic, humanoid robots performing these insanely synchronized dances. And I don't mean the stiff robot dance your uncle does at weddings.
Right.
I mean fluid, perfect, terrifyingly synchronized kung fu. Roundhouse kicks, arm waves, everything just perfectly in unison. It honestly feels like you've accidentally changed the channel to a sci-fi movie. Or maybe, the beginning, the end of the world.
It creates a very specific, very vivid mental image, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But for over 1 billion people, this wasn't a movie. This was reality. We're doing a deep dive today into the recent Lunar New Year gala in China based on this fascinating NBC News report where humanoid robots literally took center stage.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. Because on the surface, it's a spectacle. It's look at the cool, shiny thing.
Right.
But when you peel back the layers, which is what we love to do here, it's actually a window into a massive economic shift, a technological arms race, and a future that is arriving, way faster than I think most of us are ready for.
It is likely all three of those things. And frankly, the immediate reaction for a lot of people, especially here in the US, looking at the coverage, was pretty visceral.
Oh, absolutely.
You see that video and it just looks dystopian. The report mentions, it brings up memories of I, Robot or Black Mirror. You see machines moving with that level of precision and your lizard brain immediately goes to...
Okay, they're organized. When do they attack?
Exactly.
Deactivate. Pull the plug. That was literally my first thought when I saw the clip.
It's a natural reaction.
But our mission today for this deep dive is to move past that initial yikes reaction. We need to figure out, is this just a cool magic trick? Is it a legitimate threat? Or is it simply the new industrial revolution just wearing a metal face?
Right. We need to move past the viral clips to understand the technology itself, the incredible amount of money, we're talking tens of billions of dollars being poured into this sector, and the geopolitics behind the metal.
So let's start with the event itself, just to set the scale for everyone, because we compared it to the Super Bowl earlier, but even that might be selling it short, right?
In terms of viewership, absolutely. The Lunar New Year Gala is a massive cultural touchstone in China. The report notes it's broadcast to more than 1 billion people.
1 billion?
Yes. It is the moment the entire country stops to watch. So choosing to put these robots front and center isn't some accident. It's not just filler entertainment while they set up the next stage.
Right.
It is a statement. It's essentially a national billboard.
It's a flex.
A huge flex. And what they are showcasing is really fascinating. You mentioned the kung fu sequences.
Yeah, the synchronization is what really freaks people out, I think. Because when you see humans dancing in perfect sync, like the Rockettes or a military parade, you're impressed by their discipline.
Sure.
Because they are individuals trying really hard to match up.
Yeah.
But when you see robots doing it, it feels uncanny. It implies this hive mind.
That's the uncanny valley kicking in right there. It looks telepathic almost.
Right.
But here is where we need to calm the panic a little bit, or at least shift the perspective based on what the experts in the report are saying.
Okay.
Because you've looked at the tech behind this. Are these robots actually thinking about their kung fu moves? Are they communicating with each other saying, okay, on 3, kick?
I'm really hoping the answer is no. Otherwise, we should probably just end the deep dive right now and go hide in a bunker.
You're safe for now. The experts who analyze this display make a really crucial distinction here. It is effectively a magic trick. These robots are not working out moves on the fly. They aren't sensing the beat of the music or looking at their neighbor to stay in a straight line.
So they aren't improvising at all. It's not jazz.
Not at all. It is all pre-programmed repetition. Think of it like a very, very expensive player piano.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
The piano keys are moving perfectly, not because the piano is a musical genius, but because the code, the scroll inside, is telling it exactly when to strike.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I really like the video game analogy here, too. It's the difference between a cutscene and actual gameplay.
Oh, that is a perfect way to describe it.
Right, because in a video game, a cutscene looks completely cinematic and flawless.
Yeah.
The character does a backflip off a helicopter and lands perfectly.
Right.
But that's because the outcome is entirely fixed. It's basically a movie. But the gameplay is messy because the physics engine has to calculate all those interactions in real time. So the Lunar New Year show, that was a cutscene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is control theory mastered, not artificial intelligence.
Control theory.
Yeah, it's inverse kinematics. They are calculating exactly how much current to send to a specific servo motor to get that metal leg to exactly 45 degrees.
Wow.
If you threw a banana peel on that stage, or if a kid ran out there, those robots wouldn't stop.
They wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't react at all. They'd keep doing roundhouse kicks right through whatever was in front of them because they have absolutely no spatial awareness of a changing environment. They are executing a script, not sensing the world.
Which is actually terrifying in a completely different way now that I think about it, the whole unstoppable machine trope.
Right.
But it does mean they aren't intelligent. They're just loud, incredibly precise puppets.
Correct. The perfection is a result of choreography, not superior intelligence. And that is why roboticists aren't worried about these specific robots taking over the world just yet. The frightening part of the video, that tight coordination, is actually the easiest part to program if you control the environment perfectly.
Okay, so if the stage show is the polished, Instagram-perfect version of robotics, the cutscene, what does the gameplay reality actually look like?
It's a lot messier.
Because the reporting gives us a peek at this sort of blooper reel, and frankly, it makes me feel a lot better about the human race's chances.
It really is a reality check. And this is where we have to talk about the fundamental difference between choreography and autonomy.
Right.
Choreography is doing exactly what you were told in a perfectly controlled space. Autonomy is trying to figure out how to move around a cluttered house or a soccer field without a script. And that is where things really fall apart right now.
The report mentions one video that's been passed around quite a bit online. It's a robot, supposedly fully autonomous, moving about a house.
Yeah.
And it looks all high-tech and imposing until it runs straight into a full-length mirror.
It fought the mirror and the mirror won.
Yeah.
But that crash actually reveals something profound about the current state of technology. It exposes what roboticists call Moravec's paradox.
Moravec's paradox.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Robert Ludlum spy novel. What is that?
It's the observation that high-level reasoning like playing chess or calculating complex stock market trends is incredibly easy for computers.
Sure.
But low-level sensory motor skills like walking across a room without tripping over a rug or recognizing that a reflection in a mirror isn't a ghost or a hallway is incredibly hard.
So beating a grandmaster at chess, easy. Walking a toddler to bed, impossible.
Exactly. To the robot, that mirror isn't a reflection of itself. It is a highly confusing data set. Its LiDAR sensors might be bouncing off the glass. Oddly, its cameras see another room inside the mirror.
Oh, because it just sees the visual depth.
Right. It implies a depth that isn't actually there. The robot has to interpret all that visual noise in milliseconds, and in this case, it failed. It saw a hallway, accelerated, and smash.
So the stage robot looks like a ninja, but the house robot looks like a drunk toddler.
Pretty much.
Speaking of toddlers, we definitely have to talk about the soccer robots mentioned in the source.
Oh, the Beijing soccer tournament.
Yes. The report describes this footage of soccer-playing robots in Beijing. And they aren't exactly bending it like Beckham out there. The exact description used is waddling and face-planting.
It paints a very different picture from the gala, doesn't it? You go from these flawless kung fu masters to these bulky robots just struggling to stay upright in a 3-on-3 tournament.
Waddling and face-planting. I mean, it sounds like me trying to play soccer, honestly. But why is soccer so much harder for them than kung fu? Because to a human, kung fu looks way harder.
Kung fu requires more flexibility from a human body, sure. But on that stage, the floor is perfectly flat. It's perfectly lit, and absolutely nothing changes.
Right.
On a soccer field, that is pure chaos. The ball is constantly moving. The other players are bumping into you. The artificial grass might be uneven.
So it's the dynamic part that breaks the robot's brain.
It breaks their balance algorithms. Keeping 50 kilograms of metal upright on 2 legs while swinging one of those legs at a moving ball requires constant microsecond adjustments to what's called the zero moment point.
The zero moment point.
Basically the center of gravity. If the robot calculates that wrong by even a fraction of a percent, gravity takes over immediately. Faceplant.
Okay, so if I see a robot doing a backflip on TV, I should be impressed by the engineering, the motors, the joints, the hardware.
Yes.
But if I see one trying to walk across a cluttered living room and it doesn't fall over, that is the real software breakthrough.
That is the perfect way to think about it. The spectacle is dazzling, but the autonomy, the actual ability to handle the messiness of the real world, they are still very much working out the bugs.
However, and this is a big however from the report, we can't just write this all off as funny YouTube fails. We can't look at the faceplant and say, oh, silly robots, they'll never get it.
No, we absolutely can't.
Because there is serious money behind this.
Massive money. We are talking about nation-building levels of investment here. The reports indicate China is pouring tens of billions of dollars into its humanoid robot sector.
Tens of billions.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not hobbyist money. That isn't just some Silicon Valley venture capitalist hoping for a quick return on an app.
Yeah.
That is, we are going to change the world money. Why? What is the actual goal here if they keep falling over?
Well, it's not just for entertainment. It's certainly not just to win robotic soccer matches. There are two main drivers detailed in the reporting. The first is what they call showcasing industrial policy.
Which means what, in plain English?
It means Beijing is making a highly calculated push to completely dominate the future of robot manufacturing. Think about what they did with solar panels over the last decade, or more recently with electric vehicles.
Right, they just flooded the zone.
Exactly. They subsidized the industry heavily, built the entire supply chain, and now they dominate the global market. They want to be the place where the world's robots are built, period.
So the Lunar New Year show is essentially a giant commercial for their manufacturing capability.
Precisely. Look what we can build. Come buy your future workforce from us.
Wow. But the second driver you mentioned is even more interesting to me and perhaps a lot more urgent. It's demographics.
Yes. The demographics issue is huge.
The silver tsunami, right? The aging workforce.
Correct. China is facing a massive demographic shift right now. Their workforce is shrinking rapidly. There are fewer young people entering the factories to replace the older generation.
Right.
And those factories that powered the global economy for the last 30 years, they are quite literally running out of hands.
So this isn't just cool tech for them. This is an existential necessity for their entire economy.
It's a substitution play. The bet, and remember, it is a multi-billion-dollar bet, is that the productivity gains from mass automation will offset the loss of human workers. And here is why humanoids specifically matter so much.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. Why not just build big robotic arms? Or things on treads? Why do they need legs and faces?
Because the world is already built for humans.
Yeah.
Our factories have stairs, they have narrow aisles, they have door handles and tools that were specifically designed for a hand with 5 fingers. If you build a humanoid robot, you don't have to rebuild the entire factory from scratch. You can just slot the robot directly into the exact spot where the human used to stand.
That makes so much sense. It's a retrofit for the entire industrial world. So the Kung Fu dancers on TV are really just the proof of concept.
Yes.
Because if you can build a robot with the dexterity to perform martial arts,
you can eventually build a robot with the dexterity to assemble a car engine, or pack a complex shipping box, or even care for an elderly patient. The spectacle is a signal of national strategy. The dancer on TV today is the factory worker of tomorrow.
But production isn't the only arena where this technology applies. And this is where the conversation in the source material takes a pretty sharp turn.
It does.
We have to talk about the geopolitical and military context here.
This is the part that usually gets left out of the cool robot video discussions on social media. The reporting explicitly mentions a big AI arms race.
An arms race. I mean, that is heavy terminology. It implies there are two sides sprinting toward a cliff.
At least two sides. The U.S. and China are the primary competitors here. And the U.S. Department of Defense isn't just sitting on its hands watching these dance videos from Beijing.
No.
They are putting billions of dollars of their own to work through initiatives like the Replicator program.
What are they focusing on? I mean, are we building Kung Fu robots too?
The U.S. focuses heavily on autonomous systems. We are talking about drones, autonomous ground vehicles, and yes, eventually humanoid robots. But notice the distinct shift in language here.
Right.
The commercial sector talks about humanoids or helpers. The military talks about autonomy.
Meaning they really don't care if it can dance. They care if it can think for itself on a battlefield.
Precisely, and this goes right back to your cutscene versus gameplay analogy.
Right.
On a battlefield, you cannot have a pre-programmed script. It is the ultimate chaotic, dynamic environment. Things change every second.
And you can't always just remote control them with a joystick either.
Yeah.
Right, because of jamming.
Exactly. In a modern war, communications might be jammed instantly. You might lose GPS signals entirely. If you have a drone or a ground robot that relies entirely on a human pilot back at base, and that signal is cut, the robot just becomes a very expensive paperweight.
Wow.
The military needs systems that can navigate, identify targets, and make tactical decisions on the edge without human input.
The report makes a really striking statement here. It talks about a future of combat powered by algorithms.
That is a sentence that should make absolutely everyone pause. Combat powered by algorithms. We are moving rapidly away from a world where humans are the sole decision makers to a world where software plays a critical, maybe even lethal role.
And the report actually ties this back to the robots we saw on stage at the gala.
Yeah.
It mentions that some of these algorithms will result in mean roundhouse kicks.
It's a bit of dark humor from the author, but the underlying point is completely valid. The technology we are talking about is dual use. The exact same gyro stabilization software that keeps a robot upright while trying to kick a soccer ball allows a combat robot to run over uneven rubble while carrying heavy ammunition.
That's chilling.
The same computer vision that helps a home robot avoid tripping over a cat can be tuned to identify an enemy combatant in a forest.
So while the dancers themselves are harmless, the underlying tech leads to a potential battlefield revolution.
It's the classic duality of technology. Rockets can launch satellites for global GPS, or they can carry warheads. Robots can pack boxes and entertain us on television, or they can fight our wars. The arms race we're seeing is a race to see who can master that autonomy, that ability to handle real-world chaos first.
It really puts that viral video in a completely different light. You start watching it on your phone thinking, wow, cool dance, and you end up thinking about the future of global warfare.
And that is exactly why we do these deep dives, because everything is connected. The entertainment spectacle, the global economics, and the military strategy are all woven together by this one technology.
So let's bring this all full circle for everyone listening. We started with a flashy Lunar New Year variety show, a massive spectacle designed to wow 1 billion people.
Right, and we looked at the reality behind the curtain there, the pre-programming, the cutscene nature of it all.
And we laughed a bit at the blooper reel. The robots face planting on the soccer field and fighting mirrors because real-world autonomy is just incredibly hard. More of X paradox.
But then we saw the massive machinery moving beneath the surface. The tens of billions of dollars in investment driven by a desire for industrial dominance and a demographic crisis that basically requires a brand new kind of workforce.
And finally, the high-stakes world of the AI arms race. The realization that the struggle to make a robot walk on a soccer field is the exact same struggle to make a robot survive on a battlefield.
It is a lot to unpack from a single news clip.
It really is. I think the key takeaway for me, and hopefully for you listening, is that we shouldn't be fooled by the sci-fi look of it all, but we also absolutely shouldn't dismiss it. It's so easy to dismiss it as a silly toy just because it falls over playing soccer today.
That would be a massive mistake. The truth is somewhere in the middle. The viral video looks like science fiction, but the current reality is a mix of really impressive choreography and very clumsy autonomy.
Right.
But, and this is the crucial point, it is backed by the kind of national budget that solves those clumsy problems eventually. The intent is deadly serious, even if the current result is sometimes comical.
And that leads us to the final thought we want to leave our listeners with today. The reporting left us with this really stark image of algorithms powering combat.
It's a very provocative thought. If what we are seeing on public television, the dancers, the kung fu masters, if that is just the public face of this technology, what does the private development look like?
Exactly. That's the tip of the iceberg theory right there. If the dancers are what they want us to see, what is happening behind the closed doors of defense departments and highly classified research labs?
That is the real question. The blooper reel shows us the public failures. But with billions of dollars at play, you have to wonder how fast those failures are being corrected in private.
Definitely something for you to think about the next time you see a robot video pop up on your feed. Don't just look at the shiny metal and the dance moves. Look at the money and the mission behind it.
Always look at the mission.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your eyes open, and we'll catch you next time.